Now, you guys know me, we're all good friends, we get on, we form something of a rapport. You know I'm not prone to insubstantial exaggeration. In fact, I may be the least exaggerative person in the world. So take it as gospel when I say that SummerSlam 2002 is the greatest SummerSlam of all time. You heard me. While WWE would never again be as popular as it was in the late 90s, 2002 was a hell of a year for work rate, with guys like Angle, Benoit, RVD, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Chris Jericho doing the best work of their careers, as well as seeing the roster bolstered with new arrivals like Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio. Add to that the return of Shawn Michaels in the greatest wrestling comeback of all time, and you've got a show crammed to the f***ing rafters with absolutely top-notch wrestling. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 fascinating facts about SummerSlam 2002. Number 10, nearly all the performers were former or future world champions. As mentioned, one of the big reasons that SummerSlam 2002 succeeded artistically was because the show was stuffed with phenomenal in-ring talent. Of the 18 wrestlers who had matches on the main card, a whopping 83% have been at the top of the mountain at one time or another. Half the wrestlers on the show, 9 exactly, had worn World Championship gold before: Kurt Angle, Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, Booker T, Chris Benoit, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and The Rock. The 6 future world champions included Rey Mysterio, Edge, Eddie Guerrero, Christian, Rob Van Dam, and Brock Lesnar, with the giant, scary Minnesotan getting his that very night. Number 9, Kurt Angle insisted on adapting to Rey Mysterio's style. Kurt Angle is not just Jason Jordan's daddy, he's everyone's daddy. Rey Mysterio had made his televised WWE debut on the SmackDown brand in July 2002 and quickly established that he could still deliver performances akin to his mid-90s WCW show stealers. Mysterio fought Angle in the best opening match in SummerSlam history, you heard me. A wrestling machine versus the most gifted luchador ever. Mysterio had concerns that their styles would not blend, but Angle was ready for anything Mysterio had at his disposal. In a 2017 interview with The Ringer, Mysterio said of Angle, "He told me that he literally wanted me to pull out my whole arsenal and was willing to take every move to make me look good." The styles clashed perfectly, and Angle forever earned Mysterio's respect for his open-mindedness. Number 8, Flair didn't feel worthy of winning with the figure 4. Somewhat unceremoniously, 53-year-old Ric Flair was working as a mostly mid-card babyface on the Raw banner in the summer of 2002. Jericho recalls that Flair wasn't in the best place mentally at the time after a rough stretch in his career had eroded his confidence. When going over the match for SummerSlam, McMahon told the two that he wanted Flair to win with an inside cradle. Jericho asked about losing to the figure 4 instead, since Flair so rarely won with it. According to Jericho, Flair disagreed with the suggestion, telling Y2J that he didn't deserve it because he wasn't himself. This led to Jericho giving him a fiery pep talk, making him realize he was Ric Flair, and the finish changed. Jericho campaigning to tap out is why he's one of the most selfless workers in history. Number 7, Edge was originally booked against Chris Benoit. In the early days of the brand extension in the summer of 2002, wrestlers crossed from Raw over to SmackDown and vice versa, as WWE sought to find the perfect place for their talent and strike a workable balance between the brands. July alone saw tons of crisscrossing, including Jericho heading to Raw and Benoit and Eddie Guerrero to SmackDown. That double switch nixed the looming Jericho-Edge feud, but provided a fallback. Edge was told he would be working with Benoit at SummerSlam for Benoit's newly won Intercontinental title belt that he just brought over from Raw. However, WWE officials decided they actually wanted to keep the belt on Raw, so plans were scrapped and Edge was placed into a feud with Guerrero. Only problem was, number 6, Edge had reservations about working with Eddie. In 2001, Eddie Guerrero was battling serious addictions, even being sent home from a TV taping because he was in no shape to wrestle. His return to the rigorous WWE life in 2002 seemed to be a gamble, but it paid off as Guerrero worked harder and better than ever before to beat his demons. Though many in the WWE locker room were happy for Guerrero, there were skeptics, with Eddie's SummerSlam opponent Edge being one of them. According to Guerrero's autobiography, Edge wasn't sure that Eddie was going to be a team player in their storyline, that he might only be out for himself. Eventually, Eddie demonstrated to Edge otherwise, and the bond the two men formed went a long way in establishing the early value of the infamous SmackDown 6. Number 5, it was not HBK's first match since Mania 14. Shawn Michaels' comeback demonstrated, if nothing else, how ring rust is just something that happens to other people. Michaels' timing, selling, technique, and energy were all pristine in his non-sanctioned match against Triple H. Part of the build to that match was noting that Michaels could have ring rust, as he had not wrestled since Steve Austin stunned him into early retirement at WrestleMania 14. Thing is, that's not entirely true. Uh-oh, liar alert! While it's true that Michaels did not wrestle for WWE in that 4.5-year stretch, he did perform in a one-off match in April 2000 for his local Texas Wrestling Alliance promotion. There he took part in a hardcore match with Paul Diamond, a man he'd worked with in numerous promotions in the 80s and early 90s. HBK won. Obvs. Number 4, Michaels' comeback was originally a one-shot deal. After Michaels had lived up to his showstopper nickname one more time with his roll-up victory at SummerSlam, there were no more immediate plans for him at as a wrestler. At the age of 37, given that Michaels was returning from what he thought to be a career-ending injury and that his balls-out style had previously led to him indulging in substances, it was decided, we're just going to take this easy and see how things played out health-wise. Michaels would obviously return later down the line, but one day at a time was the thought process back then. Number 3, The Rock insisted on putting Lesnar over clean. There are many examples in wrestling history where title changes and torch-passing moments didn't happen the correct way due to politics and greed, shot of Hulk Hogan for no reason. In regards to The Rock, few of his contemporaries have ever had a crossword to say about him. For the most part, he's been noted for his professionalism and his willingness to do right by the wrestling business. Lesnar would later reveal that The Rock insisted on putting him over clean as a sheet at SummerSlam. Lesnar was a heel and WWE could just as easily have had Paul Heyman interfere or have Lesnar beat their top star through some underhanded tactic, but Rock thought WWE would benefit most from him losing to Lesnar cleanly, so that the new face of the company could have maximum credibility in The Rock's absence. He is the people's champ. Number 2, Lesnar became the youngest WWE champion ever. Attention pedants, please note this entry concerns only the WWE Championship. The lineage of WWE's main prize dates back to 1963, and it's not all that common to see a wrestler younger than their late 20s end up with the belt. Lesnar is an exception to that rule, as he is most rules, including gravity, time, human biology, and also the laws of robotics, because in Lesnar's words, Isaac Asimov, I'm a killer whale. Brock Lesnar won the WWE Championship from The Rock at the ripe age of 24. I'm nearly 30. Bollocks. His win broke the record set by Yokozuna in 1993, who was 26 when he fell Bret Hart at WrestleMania 9. Since Lesnar's win, only 4 men have captured their first WWE Championship in their 20s: John Cena in 2005, Randy Orton in 2007, Seth Rollins in 2015, and Bray Wyatt in 2017. And number 1, The Rock cut a heel promo on the fans dark. SummerSlam 2002 faded to black less than a minute after Lesnar scored the winning pin, fading out as Brock gleefully examined his golden token as though it was a gravestone, aka Brock Lesnar's favourite snack. Alas, the people watching at home missed out on a nifty bonus. Lesnar left The Rock behind in the ring, and the Great One began what would be his farewell promo before jetting off to Tinseltown. The Long Island crowd were aware of his departure and booed him as they had for much of the match, so The Rock went off script. The Rock shouted, "Finally! It doesn't matter where The Rock has come back to," before declaring that he was still leaving as the people's champion. Oh, lovely. Fans showered him with Rocky Sucks chants, which is retro, as he left the WWE for nearly 6 months. That snide parting shot would, in hindsight, serve as a bit of foreshadowing for one of the most entertaining heel runs ever when The Rock returned.